Oh, let there be light. All right, so honestly, when Apple first made the announcement at WWDC about them basically ditching Intel, I got excited, but I was also a little saddened. So let's just be honest here. Let's talk about this. Apple is going to start making their own chips for their laptops, their computers, period, their Macs. So there's already a developer kit for through the Mac Mini, and there's some footage out there on it, and it's not that impressive at the moment, but it's just a developer kit. It's just for them to dip inside of there and play around with it and see what it can do, and test apps or just whatever. So a Mac Mini with their silicon chip is probably going to be fast. It'll probably be like the Mac Mini Pro or something like that. They'll have a version of that more than likely. Because if we look at what Apple is doing with the iPads and their iPhones, my iPhone is blazing fast, man. And I can shoot, edit, and do everything right on that phone and render it out, pretty quickly. Now, I currently use a Mac Mini as my main computing source. I've donated the iMac to a person who really is getting some use out, a college student. So donated the iMac, and I full-time now use the Mac Mini. And the Mac Mini, here's the dilemma that I want to talk about before I get to the silicone, Apple. So my Mac Mini, I bought the top tier version, technically, the higher of the two, I guess I'll say, and the 2018 model. And then I just got the lowest RAM and memory option because I didn't get the i7 because I was like, I don't think I really need that. And i5 was good enough for me at the time, and it's still good enough. I've had the Mac Mini, I think now for almost 9 months or something like that. So the Mac Mini, it can clearly run like 4 or 5 monitors. I've tried it. It works good. No problems, no slowdowns or nothing. Even with the 8 gigs of RAM, it's got 4 Thunderbolt ports. So the Mac Mini, to me, if a person is looking for a computer through Apple, the Mac Mini is definitely the best option to save money. The only issue, though, is that you don't get a graphics card if you're going to be doing a lot of video editing. And I do video editing, but not extensive video editing. So obviously it can handle it. So, I do video editing in 4K. And when I use iMovie or Final Cut Pro, those are the two. I tried out DaVinci, so switch to Final Cut Pro. But when using those two, it renders fast. It's fast enough for me. I don't have like a timer going, oh my gosh, this was a 28-minute video. It took this long to render. I'm not really into that. But my issue is that I bought my Mac Mini, and then a few months later, they come out with a new version, doubling everything. It's really frustrating. But I said, nonetheless, I do have an external SSD, so I'm fine with that. The RAM is what I was considering upgrading here. In the last couple of weeks, I've been deciding whether I want to upgrade the RAM or get rid of the Mac Mini and switch to the MacBook Pro 16. Leave your comment down below if you think I should switch from the Mac Mini to the MacBook Pro 16. So then Apple comes along, and I like the Mac Mini because you can do what you want to do. You can have any monitor you want. You can have any keyboard you want. You're not just stuck with, you can do that with other Apple products, obviously, but just the Mac Mini is the most versatile. It is, shout out to my man Versatile. If you haven't seen his channel, go ahead and hit him up. The Mac Mini is just the most versatile, and it is the one that you can pretty much do what you want to do. It's compact, small. You can hide it away. I got the docking station for it, and it's just beast mode. So, and it doesn't take up any desk space. And you can even get a Visa mount for it and mount it on the back of your monitor if that's what you want to do to really hide it away. But I think that once they had made this announcement at WWDC, I was like, hold on, man, playing me. So I pulled back on my MacBook purchase. Remember to leave a comment down below if you think I should go ahead and just switch. We'll talk about that support thing in a second. But I don't want to go back to an iMac because the Mac Mini is, better for desk space, and I get to use all these different monitors and blah, blah, blah. But the MacBook I thought will be a good choice because I can be locked at a desk if I want to, or I can move around. So Apple makes this announcement. Wow. They make this announcement that they're going to be taking over and ditching Intel. So first thing I want to say to the people who have an Intel MacBook, iMac, Mac Mini, any of these things, you probably don't have to worry about support. Give it, 5-10 years, you're probably going to get more support. That computer is going to last you it's going to last you more than likely because Apple's products are really good. But I don't think you have to worry about Apple just ditching on you and saying, oh, we're not going to support your product anymore. You've got another 5 to 10 years easy, probably more than that. And I think you'll be safe. Even if you decide to purchase a Intel-based Mac right now, I think you're still going to be fine for 5 to 10 years easy. But the issue is that the first MacBook, or the first Mac with the silicon processors inside, I believe it's going to be the MacBook 13-inch. And as cheap as Apple is, or, I guess I should say cheap, Apple, they're probably going to use the same body and just change out the chip and change out the internals and stuff like that. So expect that. Don't expect this radical new design because they've got a new chip that they're going to use. And Apple has been technically making their own chips for a full decade. Yeah, all the way back to the iPhone 4. So Apple is kind of leading up to this point to where they're just going to close it out and say we're pretty much all Apple. This is what we're doing. So the fact that you have them they're going to switch over their Macs to this setup is a positive thing. That's a good thing because for those people that are in the Apple ecosystem, now everything is going to run perfectly fine. Apple's products right now are already blazing fast. But I think that now we're going to probably really see just how fast their products actually are. You can technically edit on a iPad Pro and get blazing fast. People do it all the time. People have these beautiful setups and their main computing source is an iPad Pro. I mean, that goes to show you just how powerful Apple's chips are. And the developer kit for the Mac Mini with the new silicon kit is the processor that's in the iPad Pro. It's the 12Z. So my concern would be graphics. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the iPad Pro has quad graphics. So that's why you're able to edit so well on the iPad Pro. But I feel like Apple's probably going to kick it up a notch in price and in performance. So as I said earlier in the video, that developer kit, when I saw the numbers for the performance and benchmarks only mean so much, but it just wasn't anything mind-blowing. It's pretty much the same or less than some of the products that are already out. So if Apple decides to integrate everything Apple going forward, this is going to be a good and a bad, because if you think about what the discussion is about the iPhone right now, what are you going to do if Apple doesn't give you a charger? I can live without getting headphones, but how are we supposed to charge our phone? That just means more money. They're going to say an optional, wireless charger or an optional fast charger that you can purchase on the side, or use somebody else's charger. That's just not right, Apple. It's just not right. So I feel like if that happens, Apple, they do things later in the game, but they tend to do it nicely. Let's give credit where credit is due. It seems like every time Apple does something, even if it's already out, even if it's been going on for a long time, when Apple does it, people seem to get excited for some reason. I don't understand that. But I tell you what, when this new MacBook comes at the end of this year, again, I'm sure it's going to be fast, but is it going to be faster than the current 16-inch MacBook Pro? I don't know. That has a dedicated graphics card, and we know that Apple, with their graphics, I mean, you can do 3D rendering. You can do everything on an iPad pretty much, and your iPhone 11. So if, in fact, Apple decides to push forward with integrating everything, I think we're going to be surprised to know that the price will go up, and we'll get better performance, we'll get better support, but will they increase the price on Apple Care, or will they get, what's going to be the bonus for switching over to using their products only? So it's your man Jay. The dilemma is here, and it is not here. I feel like if Apple chooses to make this switch, and like if I were to get a confirmation right now, hey Jay, we're gonna make this chip, and it's gonna be this fast, and here's the performance gains that you're gonna get when you're editing video, I'm gonna be all in, and I'll pay that extra Apple tax, because that's exactly what it's gonna be. It's gonna be Apple tax. I'll go ahead and pay that Apple tax because I know I'll get the support. Normally, I buy Apple Care on probably all of my, I bought it on the iMac, I bought it on the Mac Mini, the MacBooks, buy Apple Care. But if Apple's Apple tax is really, really high, I think I'm probably going to be willing to pay it. Especially if this is going to be my main device for editing and things like that. The Mac Mini is great. My current Mac Mini is fantastic. It's fantastic. I love it. I was just considering I was going to up my RAM to, here's my thought process. Yes, the Mac Mini does not have a graphics card, but I'm already editing on a Mac Mini right now, and it's perfectly fine. Most of my videos are one take. So which means like this video will probably be a one take direct upload. Who knows? So I don't even need to edit. So that is what I was considering. But when I do edit, I upgraded the iMac to 40 gigs of RAM. And so I was thinking, I said, should I go ahead and upgrade my Mac Mini to 64 gigs or 32, whatever? And the short answer is 64 gigs of storage is only $300, opposed to Apple's $1,200 or something like that. That's an Apple tax. If you want them to do it, that's incredible, man. They're crazy. But you can jump on Amazon right now. We've heard the story. We've seen all the videos. I don't plan on making a video if I upgrade my RAM. I'll probably just tell you about it later. But upgrading the RAM to 32 or 64, that will help me somewhat, because the Mac Mini as it sits right now, man, I'm running 3 monitors. I'm running a 34-inch widescreen, a 4K 27-inch, and then I had another 24-inch as well. But the uniformity of those, one of them doesn't look right, so I ditched that one. So I moved down to one for now until I get my new office built. But nonetheless, Apple is going to move us in a direction, and I don't personally have anything against Apple as a company. I just think they're a little greedy and their products are a little overpriced. But maybe I won't be able to say that once they officially switch over to their own chip. I don't know. So again, my plan was to ditch my Mac Mini and get a 16-inch MacBook. Now, I could keep the Mac Mini. It's not that I, have to get rid of my Mac Mini. Obviously, I paid for it a long time ago, and it's just a product that I have. But I was thinking about selling it and putting that money towards the MacBook Pro 16. But I think if I do that and then I don't like it, or I'm not as impressed and I want to just switch it up and I'm only going to use the 16-inch MacBook for something else, or no heavy editing, I don't know. I think realistically, I should keep my Mac Mini, because I'm going to lose at least half the cost of it, or I'll probably make a little over half back if I try to sell it, depending on who's buying. I mean, because you can get the one I have now for, the new ones are out, so people aren't really going to be in the market to buy the 18 model. So that is why I think it's probably beneficial that I keep that and add on the 16-inch MacBook Pro. Or should I wait for the new MacBook Pro that's going to drop at the end of this year, in the next 3 to 6 months, from Apple with their chip? I don't know. It's your man Jay. Let me know what you think in the comments, and let's talk about it. Remember, what should I do? Help me out. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Fade to black.